Dr. Wickham Simons. This is Michelle Kennedy, nurse practitioner. This is the Dr. Simons Metabolics Weight Loss Ask Me Anything Facebook Live event. We'd like to welcome the patients of Dr. Simons Weight Loss and the followers of the Casual Keto Doctor to the show today. We're answering your questions about weight loss. Today is Monday, May the 2nd. I want to apologize ahead of time. I've got some startup allergy things going on. So if you hear me sneezing or sounding congested, that's what it is. We're giving away a $25 Target gift card today.
Yes, you have to do two things in order to be eligible here on the show. I want you to like this video and comment in the comment section, #SimonsAMA. And at the end of the show, you will draw a winner. So let us know you're here. And also, if you have any questions that you want us to answer live, we're happy to. But luckily, you guys continue to send great questions in. So we're going to address those on the show today.
Yes, we are.
So, yeah, let's start.
Yes, we are. Charlie from Durham. I know Charlie, and this is a good question.
Charlie's asking about his daughter. So his daughter joined him on his quest to be healthy, which is great. We have a lot of families that join on board, which is wonderful. Right. His daughter was asking, does too much protein and not enough fat have a negative effect on ketosis and weight loss? There's a second part to this question. We're going to answer both. She also asked, what's the best way to get the proper amount of fat without going over on carbs and calories?
Yeah.
So you said you already.
It's kind of, it's kind of a two-part question. I did have a chance to talk with him in my office about this. But this is something that I think that a lot of our patients have these kind of questions. So it's a good one to talk about. There's really a two-part question. The first one is about, does too much protein have a negative effect on ketosis and weight loss? And I would say, as a general rule, I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. I don't. The reason I'm called the Casual Keto Doctor is I believe rules are primarily for kindergartners, and I've moved on from kindergarten. I don't like a bunch of rules, right? I was in the Army for a long time, and I'm kind of sick and tired of rules. So I got out of that. So if I can avoid them, I do. And I find life's a whole lot simpler when you don't have a lot of rules. Now, in some cases, rules protect us, like, don't go 200 miles an hour on the interstate, for example. Yeah. Those kind of rules, okay, they're there for our safety. But for the most part, I think that we tend to get that mindset right from the time we're a youth. Oh, you have to follow these rules, and this is the way it goes, and you can't actually then become a free thinker. You can't think outside the box, and this can imprison you in a way when it comes to this diet stuff. Yeah. Okay, because there's a whole industry of people in business out there, in this era of kind of the internet and social media and all that are selling their reputations, and their business is built on this idea of crazy rules that they can always find some support for their rules. In many cases, they're the ones making up the rules. If you don't get this much fat, you're in trouble. Meanwhile, America, if you walk into any grocery store, you see it is a smorgasbord of refined carbohydrate that's on sale, where you buy one and you get the other one free, right? You get twice as much for half the price. And it just what is going on with this? And this is what I'm trying to get at is, I have very few patients who come to see me who say, I've been eating too much lean chicken and steak, and this must be causing my weight gain. No, that's generally not it. Yeah, it's not. It's usually, I had it with a roll, and I had it with potatoes, and I washed it down with a sweet tea and that sort of thing, right? So I have plenty of patients who eat high protein, low fat, low carbohydrate diets, and they lose a lot of weight.
Yes.
And so I think if it's a stumbling block for you, you can just take out these ideas. My taste buds will take me to a certain amount of fat and protein. And as long as I'm not including that refined carbohydrate in there, then I've achieved the goal. That's the way to look at it, right? You can, the essence of the argument about too much protein lies in the fact that there are some amino acids in the protein that we call insulinogenic amino acids. They are branched chain amino acids that can raise your insulin level. So the idea is, if you have a lot of these, you then raise your insulin level and you get out of ketosis, right? So, but it kind of really takes a lot of that.
Yes.
I mean, if I said, here, Michelle, I want you to eat 2 pounds of meat.
Not gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to stop before you get to the 2 pounds. So yeah, you could get too much of that. And you can buy, by the way, those branched chain amino acids. I really don't recommend that. That's for people kind of working out. But when they're you know, but in the grocery store, you're not going to see branched chain amino acid powder, you know, for sale. You're going to see the produce and the meat section, right? And you'll stop before you get too much of that stuff. Yeah. If you're a really insulin resistant person, profound insulin resistance, maybe cutting back on the protein and adding some more fat will help you. But we'll guide you on that stuff at the office.
Yeah, that's what the individualized approach is about. Is, you know, we can make statements like, generally speaking, this is the way it is, and generally speaking, a lot of our patients don't eat high fat, but we have some patients that do need to because they have to keep both the protein and the carbohydrate really moderated. The carbohydrate very low and the protein moderated, and then the fat is what's left, you know, for calories, and they do well with that. I will say I find a lot of times women do a little bit better with the calorie control that comes from moderating fat in a keto diet. I don't have a lot of women. Some women who are, again, profoundly insulin resistant do really well with a high fat. But I think from a calorie standpoint, sometimes that can really get in the way with the weight loss that we want to see with ketosis. So we do more of a higher protein, very low carbohydrate, and lower fat or moderated fat approach. Right. And it works well.
Yeah.
So the second question was the best way to get the proper amount of fat. And I will say my biggest recommendation is get your fat from the whole unprocessed sources. Yep. It is a lot harder to overeat avocados and ground beef that's 80-20 instead of 97-3 than it is, you know, if you're pouring, you know, liquid fat into beverages or pouring liquid fat onto your meals, you know, just a little bit's okay. It makes it tasty. We want to put, you know, butter on our veggies and, you know, use a little bit of oil. But when you're getting fat from avocados, nuts, seeds, olives, olive oil, butter, right? The natural fats found in animal products, you will know you're getting the proper amount because, like Dr. Simon said, you will be satiated. Your palate will let you know, and you won't want to or need to keep going. Yeah,
I don't ever have to tell anybody, okay, quit eating bacon grease with a spoon out of the bacon grease container. You know,
I've never had to tell anyone that either.
Yeah, here, have a stick of butter. How much do they really eat, right? I mean, it's very satiating. You will stop at the right time. There's no psychiatric disorder where people overeat this sort of fat, right? There are psychiatric disorders where you can drink too much water and stuff like that. But, you know, but generally, as a rule, you know, like you say, naturally occurring animal fat is not something that people are going to overeat. And so so I'm like you. I'm just like, okay, just go for it. Your body will tell you when to stop, right?
So it looks like we have a question, and we're here answering your questions on the Dr. Simon's Ask Me Anything Facebook Live. Make sure to enter for a Target gift card, anyone who's watching. You got to like this video and comment #SimonsAMA. Our live question from Tabata, it's a pretty name. For someone that is on a plateau, a weight plateau, what do you recommend? That's a good question. I think we've addressed on here before with plateaus. The main thing is we just need to change something, whether it is dietary changes. That could be more or less of a macronutrient group, more or less calories. Timing of eating might need to shift. We may need to change exercise, right? We may need to change medications. And we use medications because it works, and we need this. It's a metabolic condition that is very complex and difficult to treat with weight. And so the medication is really important. But sometimes the medication you start with, it may not be effective to get you through a plateau. So if you're on a plateau and you're struggling, give us a call. We can give you the dietary guidance, the exercise guidance, and maybe switch up some medication or add some medication. I think that, you know, ties really into the part of that last question we had about the, you know, going over on the calories. You're pointing out that at some point, you know, your body just factors all this in. You get on a plateau, and it's not just all about calories, right? It's about the quality of the food, the quantity, the amount of physical activity. A bunch of things go into that. Timing. Yes. So, you know, I think that
I mean, calories is a piece, but it's not like the most important piece, right? So because you and I talk to people all the time who seemingly have pretty well calorie controlled diets and are stuck on plateaus, right?
Oh, yes.
And it takes something more than that. And Michelle's point about, look, you got to change stuff up. You know, what your body is good at is adapting. It's built this way. Okay. It's genetically adapted to, you know, just, hey, let's status quo, right?
It's how we're still here.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
humans.
that's exactly right. So you got to throw some curveballs at it. Yeah.
Thank you for that question, and make sure to enter for our gift card. We so appreciate the question, but hashtag Simon's AMA in the comments and like this video. And you will be the only one who's entered thus far, giving you a 100% chance of winning the gift.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So thanks everyone for joining. The questions coming. Yeah. We're gonna move on to Paula from Wake Forest asking that she always feels like she needs to lose weight before coming back to our practice after falling off track. How to work through this. And this is a fantastic question. I know you, just like me, multiple times a day, people come in and said, I didn't want to come. I didn't want to face you. I didn't want to face the scale. But by the end of the visit, 100% of the time, they are so glad that they did. And they are feeling so much better, because you don't have to do it before. That's what we help you do here.
That's right.
But I promise you're not alone in that feeling. Anyone who feels that way, you are in very good company, because this is a really difficult thing to face, even when you have help. I mean, alone, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, right.
But even with help, it can be really hard. And there can be those feelings of judgment and shame and blame. But you will never find that in our practice, ever. This is a judgment-free zone. We say it all the time, and we mean it. You will never face that here.
That's right. And look, you're the way I explain it to patients, well, first I'll even back up and say there's no extra cost to restarting. It's just another follow-up visit.
Yeah.
Whether it's been 2 years or whatever it's been, right?
Yeah.
So we're not gonna like financially penalize you for that.
Yeah.
But you're treating a disease. I say this a lot. Obesity is a disease. It is not a character flaw. Okay, it's a disease. Now, let's just talk about some other disease. So if you had high blood pressure, for example, and you went to your primary doctor and they gave you some medicine for your high blood pressure, and they said, we want to see you back in 30 days. Okay, and you go home, take the medicine, and you've been checking your blood pressure at home, and it has not come down. Would you then call the family doctor and say, I'm canceling my appointment. I'm so ashamed that my blood pressure has not come down. I can't face you. I can't face the blood pressure cuff. Okay. Now, see, if you'll just, that the problem that the medical community created over the last 75 years was to blame patients for this sort of thing rather than treating disease. And we're trying to get away from that paradigm. And if someplace ever makes you feel guilty about that, you are going to the wrong joint. Okay. And you want to come to a place like this because we won't sit there and judge you for this stuff. Like Michelle said, we're treating a disease, and maybe you need a different dose of medicine. Maybe you need 2 or 3 different kinds of medicine. Maybe you need some tweaking on your diet, and we can help you with this sort of thing, right? So it's not a character problem. It is a medical problem, and you should not feel weird about it. And no one in this office, not the front office people, not the providers who see you, none of them are ever going to make you feel guilty or ashamed. So please don't do it to yourself. We encourage you to come back in and look at it as a medical problem. Medical problems need treatment, right?
Absolutely.
It's why I don't wear the white coat. I don't put I don't put all that stuff, you know, I don't make it look like a regular medical office, even though it is, because I don't want people getting their guard up. I want them being relaxed when they come here. And so, and knowing that it's okay. Yeah. Right. I can talk to these folks. They get it. Right?
Yeah, we do. So please give us a call. And anyone out there who's thought about this question and maybe is wanting to come back but is worried, please give us a call. You know, we have appointments, so we'd be so happy to see you and you will hopefully feel what our patients tell us they feel, which is a welcoming environment without the judgment.
Yeah.
They can get help.
I always finish those appointments by saying, hey, those restarts, like, see how easy it was to restart?
Yeah.
Remember that in the future. Yeah. So if things aren't going well,
you
know,
do that too. I ask them, do you feel better leaving than you did
right.
coming? And
exactly.
they always say, yes, I'm so glad I called.
All right, Charlie, thanks for entering the giveaway.
Thank you. Right
Your
now,
chances of winning are pretty
pretty
good.
high.
That's right, yeah. Real good. Yeah. So, all right, let's go to Heather from Cary. Are there any significant benefits to a keto diet if you have gluten allergies?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be significant benefits to the keto diet, whether you do or do not. However, a ketogenic diet is naturally gluten-free because gluten is the protein that is found in grains. Yeah. And when you eliminate grains from your diet, the pasta and the bread and all the stuff made with flour, you inevitably completely avoid the allergen.
Yeah, that is correct. That's and I want to bring up a second point there because I hear it a lot in the office. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm following that gluten-free diet. I'm like, yep, all you're doing is eating a bunch of carbohydrates. You took the gluten, the wheat protein out of there and just kept all the carbs.
Yeah, and sometimes those
so don't get fooled.
Can be worse.
Gluten-free, right. Gluten-free and carbohydrate restricted are two entirely different things, right? So yes, a keto diet will fix your gluten allergy in that you're not going to be eating grains, right? But don't fall for the idea that, oh, I'm going to the pizza place, we're going to get the gluten-free crust. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that doesn't help you, right? Yeah. It does not help you.
Yeah, I have had patients say, well, I've been following gluten-free and I don't understand, I'm not losing weight. Yeah. And when we do a diet recall, gluten-free waffles are breakfast, gluten-free bread is lunch, gluten-free, pasta is dinner. And unfortunately, the stuff that they put in there, it's no better. In fact, sometimes worse.
Yes.
And the nutritive value is, and that's the cool thing about a ketogenic diet too, I'll just mention is when you do have a gluten allergy intolerance, every time you do have gluten, it's causing a negative impact on your gut. It can be causing damage. And our gut is really important for a lot of things. Our immune system's in there. A lot of our feel-good neurotransmitters are made in there. So when our gut is compromised, it leads to a lot of other negative health consequences. A ketogenic diet has a lot of gut healing properties. The foods that you're eating, the healthy fats and the fibrous vegetables, can really help heal some of the damage that could have been happening from eating a highly processed diet, whether you had a gluten intolerance or allergy or not, but especially if you do have a gluten allergy, it is sometimes hard to avoid out in the real world. And so that damage could be occurring. And a ketogenic diet could help fix that, heal that.
Yep.
So all the more reason, all the more reason to give it a try, Heather, if you haven't. And give us a call because we can help guide you on that. It's like Charlie's the only one. Everyone's missing out on this Target gift card. I'll tell you, if you are watching,
hang in there, Charlie. It's good for you, bro. Yeah.
I'm rooting for you, Charlie, but I want to let other people know too. You can enter #Simon'sAMA, like this video, and we're still answering your questions here live on Monday, May 2nd. So we're going to go.
Charlie, I've known Charlie for a while now, and he's really one of the best ketogenic dieters we've ever had.
Congratulations, Charlie.
It's been very good for him, and so anyway, he's kind of a walking testament to what keto will do for you. And he attends a lot of these live events that we do, and I'm very thankful to have him as a patient. And now he's collaborating with his daughter, So it's a tag team thing going on. Yeah. Celia from Raleigh. Should I worry about losing weight if I'm skinny fat? What do you think skinny fat means, Michelle?
So skinny fat is a term that is used when your body weight and your BMI is not high. So you look thin, but the percentage of your body fat is high. Right? Yes. And we all know what this looks like, right? It happens a lot. There's other terms, soft body is sometimes used. More clinical term is TOFI, TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. And really the biggest risk is that fat that we carry around all our vital organs, right? Our brain's our only organ that's not from here to here. So we carry a lot of weight and fat in our abdomen, even if we have thin arms and thin legs, and even if our abdomen isn't really large, that fat inside of there is very dangerous. It's kind of nasty. It sends like nasty messages to all our other organs. And that's what makes this a disease, right? It's not just the weight and the physical mass. It's the fact that the fat cells in there are releasing these substances and these little chemical messengers they don't play nice. They're not nice. They don't play nice.
Nope.
They hurt our heart. They hurt our liver. They hurt our kidneys. They send messages up to our brain. It's just, none of it's good. None of it's good.
It's a toxic mess.
It is. It's toxic. It's a good word. But you can't tell looking at someone on the outside necessarily if they have that going on in there. So
that's right. So this is why I don't just agree with the concept just of weight.
Yeah.
Because if you have to think of your body fat as an organ instead. So you can be thinner, have a smaller frame, but have too much fat and get very sick with all the diseases we associate with being overweight, the type 2 diabetes, the heart disease, all of it, right? So, there's a movie character that's kind of like this. If you ever watch the kind of Will Ferrell comedy Talladega Nights, it gets funnier. I mean, it's like it comes on, like TNT or TBS every weekend at some point.
That's a good one.
But it's like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that part in there before. The little few lines that I watch, it just makes me laugh even more. But he's got a father named Reese Bobby, and the guy's famous for drinking the 24-ounce cheap beers. You buy at the convenience store, and he's always drinking them. It doesn't matter if it's 8 in the morning or 10 at night. He's there drinking, and he's skinny. But that's where his calories are coming from. He's got this little gut, with a T-shirt on, right? See, that's skinny fat.
Yeah.
Right, and so Reese Bobby is an example. The character Reese Bobby in the movie is an example of kind of skinny fat. It's an unhealthy condition. Just because he's a normal weight doesn't mean he's healthy, right? So I think if you're trying to deal with skinny fat, you're really not necessarily trying to deal with weight loss. You're trying to deal with fat loss.
Yes. Okay.
And the thing that makes you store fat and hold on to fat is insulin. So it comes back to why we teach carbohydrate restriction. If you're going to eat and drink things that constantly raise your insulin level, your blood sugar, and therefore your insulin level, this is the problem you get, whether you have a big frame or a smaller frame, right?
Yeah.
So, and you made one more point. I just would kind of say this. It's okay to have subcutaneous fat. Right. So the fat that I can pinch up here, this does not, we don't know that this causes anybody a problem. We think there's health promoting qualities. So you can still have a higher body fat percentage from that kind of fat and be okay and be just fine. It's the fat that's right here. Okay. That visceral fat, you get too much of that. That's what gets you in trouble. And that's the thing you ought to target. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we do in our practice. So I know that some patients think, well, if my weight isn't this high or if my BMI is not this high, then I guess I'm not a candidate and I can't come. Yeah. And that is absolutely not the case.
That is correct.
Absolutely not.
Right.
We have patients that come in and maybe someone watching them walk into our practice and say, well, why are they going to a practice for weight loss? Yeah. Maybe they've lost 100 pounds already, or maybe they have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Or maybe everyone in their family has died from a medical condition. Or they have a lot of that weight in their abdomen and they know it's a problem, or their liver enzymes are high and they have fatty liver. I see that all the time. Patients who are thin and their liver enzymes are high because the fat in their abdomen is starting to infiltrate their liver, really important organ. So we will absolutely help with that. Don't feel like you can't call if you're not a certain weight or don't have a certain BMI.
Yeah, that's right.
And we specialize in losing body fat, not just body weight.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a really great question. I'm glad we addressed that. Shall we?
Yes, Lisa from Durham says she's Mexican American and she wants to know, do you treat many multicultural patients with keto? No, Lisa. We only treat like one. I'm joking. We treat everybody.
Yes, we do.
Yes. In fact, we don't sit around. I don't say to Michelle, hey, Michelle, guess what? We got a Mexican American today. I mean, no, we just have a patient today, right? And this is the way we view everybody. So, treat everybody from all kind of backgrounds.
Yeah, all kind of ethnic dishes that they make and ask us, how can I alter this? Because it's important.
Yeah, that's right.
We understand people have their heritage and certain foods that have been a staple, and that's what we're here to help. And you're not going to come in and we're going to say you can't eat anything again that you like. That is not the way it is.
That's exactly right.
Not the way it is.
Yeah, we'll just work with you whatever your background is. And anyway, so I don't want you to ever worry about that. Regardless of what the kind of ethnicity of your diet looks like, we'll find a way to work with you.
Yes, absolutely. And you can do keto with delicious Mexican food, because a lot of the dishes have delicious animal protein, and then yummy things like guacamole, sour cream, peppers, onions, lettuce, tomato. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do. But maybe we will leave out the tortilla, or we'll find a low carb tortilla, or a replacement for tortilla chips, like the Quest protein chips that we have here in our office and in our Durham location. So there are ways to find healthier versions of those favorite items that patients really, really like. So,
yes.
And we do have for individuals who want to come but are Spanish speaking, or have a family member who wants to come but is Spanish speaking. We have forms on our website that are in Spanish. And we have a lot of Spanish speaking patients.
We do.
That will come, and they will bring a translator with them, and we're able to do everything, that we would. The staff, I don't know any of us that are totally fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
But I can do bits and pieces, and when you bring a translator, it helps a lot, and we can have a great appointment together.
All right, Jill from Clayton. It's the last question. Do you still offer telephone visits? Yes.
Yes.
And 2, is there a cost difference? No, minus the $15 to ship your medicine if you want it shipped.
Yeah.
Right?
So we don't charge you a different follow-up visit fee. It's the same price to be seen. The medication cost is the same as if you're in the office. Having an on-site pharmacy, we will ship the medication to you, and that is the only difference in cost. So that is something that we would definitely be upfront about on the phone. But a lot of people, with gas prices and with having to travel here, with traffic and this, the $15 is really well worth it. A lot of people find
just a couple caveats there. You got to be an established patient who's been to the office. Right, so we have to have seen you face to face at least once, and then 2, we periodically need to see you back in the office.
Yes.
Right, so if it's been a year without being seen in the office, we usually have you come back in and do one visit. But in the interim, we can do these sorts of things unless the state comes with some different rules. It's considered to be acceptable.
Yeah. And we will ask some things of you when you're not physically in the office. We cannot weigh you here. We cannot take your blood pressure here. So you're going to be sending us photos of your weight and of a digital blood pressure, so we can continue to monitor that. But the visit itself is no different. It just happens to be over the phone instead of in person, and we can still discuss all the things related to diet and medication and exercise, and set goals, and talk through difficulties and break plateaus. So a lot of our patients are really appreciative that they can continue their treatment plan when it's hard for them to come in every month physically.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, we have 3 entries for the gift card: Denise, Charlie, and Tabata. And the winner is Tabata. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Yes, you are the winner, dear. Thank you very much for entering. Charlie, keep trying, brother.
Yes. Yeah. Denise, same. Keep trying. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching. Remember, we're open today, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Take care, everybody.